Hello YouTube, my name is Josh and I want to welcome you to our channel. So Flickstiq is all about game streaming and cloud gaming, and today is a day that a lot of you have been waiting for. We're here to talk about Simplay. But before we get into that, there's a story that goes along with this. There's a member of our community, his name is Lashout Lunatic, and he realized recently that Simplay was allowing some users from the United States to sign up and use the service. And that's kind of a big deal because Simplay is only located in Europe, and normally if you go on their website from another region, they don't let you sign up and they don't let you use the service, and for good reason. There's latency concerns and performance concerns and things like that. But Lashout Lunatic realized that some people in the United States could sign up and they could still use it. And so he brought that to our attention. He actually went as far as getting us an invitation to actually use the service. So we want to say thank you to him. And basically that's what this video is all about. We're testing their service and we're seeing what it's like, what it looks like, how it performs, all that good stuff. But I want to make a really special note, and this is something that's really important to understand. So like I said, Simplay is only located in Europe. So their servers are all in Europe. There are no servers in the United States at this time. So for us to connect and try it, we have to connect across the ocean to Europe and play that way. So there is going to be quality loss, there is going to be some latency that's added because of that distance. So this video is not as much a review as it is kind of a first look at what Simplay is all about. So realize that the quality that you see in this video is probably not a good representation of what Simplay would be like if you lived in a supported region. So if you do live in Europe, I would expect this to be very different, but we were able to play, it was playable, and you'll see that here later in the video. So let's start off by looking at the Simplay setup. Let's look at their desktop, see how that all works, and that's coming up next. When you first launch Simplay, you're going to be greeted by the Simplay desktop, and this is where you start off. So it's basically just like a Windows 10 desktop, and you can use this as a starting point to get your game collection set up. It does come pre-installed with popular services like Battle.net, Origin, Steam, and Uplay, so you have everything you need to get going. So your first step is just to download a couple of your titles, and outside of that, you have most of the controls that you're already used to in Windows. You do have the addition of the Simplay overlay, and you can use this to manage your system to an extent. So just like I said in the beginning of the video, I am pretty far away from the Simplay servers, and you can see that it rates my connection as being poor, and you'll see how that shows up in gameplay in just a little bit. But you'll get an idea of how that's performing. If you're in a supported Simplay region, I'd expect this to be a lot better. You can toggle between 30 FPS and 60 FPS, and there's a slider to control the streaming quality. You can see that I'm at roughly 30%, and it looks pretty good even with that. You can also toggle back and forth between your full screen. You can manage your profile, your subscription, read the blog, get support, things like that. And it's really nice. If you hit the home button, that'll take you to the Simplay website where you can manage even more, mostly related to your account. So that's really nice. You can also choose to shut down the server if you need to. And that's really about it for the Simplay desktop itself. Now this is considered to be a streaming interface, so if you want, once your games are installed, you're welcome to just start streaming by opening those up and going right away. And that can be a really good experience. The developers over at Simplay have put a lot of time into the desktop and into the streaming technology, and it gets better and better all the time. So you may want to use that as your starting point. If you want to, they do have complete support for Parsec, so you're welcome to go to Parsec's website over at parsecgaming.com, and you can download and install Parsec on their server. They will let you run it. They're not going to prevent you. They've actually partnered with Parsec, and when you launch Parsec later on and use that for your streaming, it's not going to time out or anything like that. So that's great compatibility, and that's a nice feature to have. It's great to have that available. Now we're going to jump right into some gameplay footage. A couple things to note. Because of our distance, we had to stream at 720p. We're using a connection of 10 megabits per second, so that's our setting in Parsec, and we're using the lowest latency selection in Parsec. So what you're about to see is based on those settings, and that's as high as we could go based on our distance and still have a playable experience. So you might notice that in just a moment as the quality might look a little bit lower than normal. And it's also important to note that we are using Parsec. We tried to do it through the Simplay desktop, and there were too many hiccups for us. Now that should be a lot different if you're in a supported region. You should be able to use either the desktop or Parsec and have a very decent experience, and we expect it to be very good for those of you that live in a supported region. So let's go ahead and cut on over to gameplay, and then we'll talk about what we thought at the end of the video.
Heads up!
Lend me a hand!
Up and at them, boys.
For faster! For pestilence! Go! Weak loafers! Assistance needed here! Someone help me up! Stay alive, dwarf!
Loss is contagious, isn't it?
Scissors!
Little one.
Grumpy, singing school, I'm down! Again! Get down! Scarrick thick spines! Cut slash, mangle, clam take! Get up, Saren! Saren, there's more to burn! There we go!
Alright, so as you saw, Simplay is completely playable even at this distance, as long as you're willing to lower the settings to make it happen. Now, it's important to take all of this with a grain of salt because we are in an unsupported region. Now, we would expect it to be a better experience if you're in a supported region, and honestly, I'd even take it a step further and say that I expect it to be very good if you live in Europe. I would expect this to be a pretty darn good service to choose from, so that's something to consider as well. Now, let's talk about what makes Simplay special. So Simplay is a completely unlimited cloud gaming service, meaning that you can play as much as you want. It's all included in your subscription, and they do have 2 subscriptions that you can choose from. The only difference between them is the amount of storage that you get for the games that you're going to play, and they start off at $19 per month, which is a really good deal compared to a lot of the things that are out there, especially for unlimited hours. So that's one of the better deals in cloud gaming, so that may already put them on your list just because of that. So keep in mind that you're welcome to try them out even if you're in an unsupported region, as long as they let you sign up. There is no guarantee that they will let you, and it looks like for the majority of unsupported regions that probably don't. And there isn't a whole lot that we can do about that here at Flickstiq, but what we can say is they do have plans to come to as many regions as possible. They do have plans to come to the United States at some point, hopefully sooner than later. So we'll try that again as soon as they are close by and see if we can give you a better idea of what the service is like. But hopefully this first look is enough to kind of raise your interest and make you think about trying it, because they look like they've got a really good thing going. So let us know what you think in the comments. Was it impressive? How do you feel like it compares to other services? Would you be willing to try them even if you're in an unsupported region, if you could have the experience that I showed you today? Let us know what you think, and if you like the idea of cloud gaming and you want more content like this, consider subscribing to the channel. We release this stuff all the time. That's really the focus of the channel. And until next time, you guys have a good one.